Hello, my lovelies. So, I hope my internet will be okay now. I just had some trouble earlier. So sorry for my German followers. Meine Lieben, es tut mir leid, aber die Telekom hat mich vorhin ständig rausgeschmissen. Deswegen habe ich es dann irgendwann gelassen. Ich hoffe, dass es jetzt bei Dixiebelle funktioniert. Guys, I'm so happy when you join me tonight. As I just said, I'm having some trouble with my internet connection tonight, and I've tried to do a live earlier on my page, and I was kicked out several times. So I hope it works now when you join me, guys. Just say hi to me. Let me know that you're watching. My name is Angela, and I'm the owner and creative energy behind Elfen and Helden. I'm an elite retailer for Dixiebelle Paints over here in Frankfurt in Germany. So, hallo liebe Sissi, schön, dass du da bist. Ich hoffe, die Leitung steht jetzt endlich. Also vorhin hatten wir da so ein bisschen Trouble. So, guys, I'm working on this little side table. It's got like a drawer. And as you can see, I've already used some wood band on here. This is the trim 716 we're going to use in a second also, which is this basket weave trim. It is ever so pretty. And it's ever so easy to cut to size because that's obviously it's wider than this this side is. So I'm going to show you how I cut it. I'm going to edit around here also. This is shaped. This is like how do you say that? Guys, after all, I'm German, so sometimes I'm making up words and I'm missing words. Hi Michelle, my translator is here. That's good. So it's like it's curved. So now I've got it. Sometimes the simplest words I'm missing out. Cheers, coffee. It is 8 p.m. over here. So when you join me, just let me know where you're watching from and what the time is there. So, as I said, I'm a bit trouble with my internet connection. So the idea behind the whole thing is this is a bleeder. This is a bleeder, but I only bossed it once. I used Boss Clear on there because for the look I'm going for, I don't actually mind if there is like some of the bleed through at the end coming through. Hallo liebe Vera, nächster Versuch. Ich hoffe jetzt steht's. We're going to work. Michelle, you have to be strong. I'm going to use for the base, I'm going to use the colored green. I know you don't like that color. You won't see much at the end of it, but this is going to be the base. And hi, Nina. Thank you for joining. And over the top, we're going to work with one of the new colors, or two of the new colors actually from Dixiebelle. One is Weeping Willow, which is like this, like a sage green, which I think is absolutely adorable. And with Cucumber Eyes, which is a white with greenish undertones. So it is very bright. It is, well, it is not pure white. Now we have a white with a gray undertone, which is fluff. We have a white with brown undertones, which is drop gloss. We have buttercream, which is like clear, creamy, like buttercream white. And we have in Cucumber Eyes, which is like a fresh white with a slight green undertone. Hello, Maria. Thank you for joining, guys. I'm happy that you are there. So we're going to use some Seaspray. This is going to be an H piece. We're going to use a stencil cozy sweater. And we're going to use Transfer the Vintage Post. Obviously not all today, but we're going to get started. So first, I'm going to add some more trim down here so that you can basically see what we can do with that. I have a little piece of the trim 124. This is just like a leftover. Don't ever throw any bits and pieces you have left from your woody bands. You never know when you can use them. And I thought I'm going to apply that onto this little handle. It is quite cute. You know, it is carved, so but I just want to add a little bit more interest onto that. So I'm hot. It is hot over here anyway. It cooled down a little bit. We had about 36, 38 degrees Celsius over here. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. It is pretty hot. Those ones already were on there. So I'm just adding just a little. I don't want to have too much. So just a little to give it a little more interest. So let's get started. Enough talking. I have my the trim already on the griddle. The woody bands, for those who don't know, the woody bands They are basically made out of wood. And when they're in a cold state, they sound like wood, they behave like wood. This is pretty thin. You obviously could break it like a branch. And when they are warm, they get lovely and flexible. So you can basically shape them around any shape. So you can see on top here, I shaped it around those corners. This is just like one trim going around. And now I'm going to add one here. You can cut them when they are warm because they are soft like rubber. I'm going to show you. So I had that laying on the cradle. Down there. So that's basically how you can move that. This is a little woody band trick. I'm going to get that back in. So let's get that going. So I'm first going to measure that. You can heat them. As I said, I had that laying on the cradle. But you can heat those also with a heat gun, with a hair dryer, whatever you have on hand. So this is going to be roughly about here. You can cut it with some scissors also. I forgot where it's going to go. I mean, you can stretch them also a little, but yeah, there you go. There you go. This is the area. Or with a sharp knife. I'm having the scissors here because obviously this is too wide for this side. So I'm going to decoupage by Roop. Hello for joining. Where are you watching from? Yes, Vera, finally they are there. So the delivery this time came over Portugal for some reason. So there was a bit of a delay. So this is already cooling down again. There's just a man driving past at the front. So I'm just going to heat that up. I have a hairdryer at the moment. My heat gun is at my home because I'm working on a kitchen buffet there. So, hi Mine. Just warming that up. Sorry for the noise. That's all you need with that heat. So I know by now there's just like two of those weaving things. I'm going to come a little closer, which I'm going to cut off because that's basically the widths I measured. I just need, this is not really warm, but I can cut it anyway. So obviously they cool down again when the heat is gone. Obviously, I mean, so I'm going to keep that. You never know. You can use that for other craft things. Oh, yeah, throw it around. Just going to put that back on the quill until I have my glue on my project. I'm going to bring you a little closer so you can see what we do. There you go. Guys, if you have any questions, just let me know. Wie geht's euch, Münir? Alles okay bei euch? I see that I answer those straight away, and if I miss them, I will come back later. And if you haven't done it yet, guys, I would highly appreciate a follow from you. Applying the woody bands, guys, you use a wood glue of good quality. It doesn't matter which one. I use the Tide one, Quick and Thick. That's my preferred wood glue. I think Dixiebelle's got Tightened also. I'm not quite sure. You can actually get those trims also from Woody Band and from Dixiebelle and your Dixiebelle retailers, because they are carried by them also. Baby wipe. Isn't it a good thing that all the things drop down? Because if they would go up to the ceiling, I wouldn't reach them anymore. I'm a dwarf. Well, I'm not really a dwarf, but I wouldn't reach the ceiling. So, okay, so I'm going to spread that out. When I work with the ornaments, because woody bands come also in different types of ornaments, not only trims. The trims come in different widths. So there probably would have been a width which would have fitted on here, but I wanted to have this basket thing on here. That's what I decided. So spread it out even. As I said, I usually put it on the ornament. When I work with trims, I like to add it onto the project itself, because usually, you know, when I work, now you can see it's nice and warm again. It was on the griddle, because when I work with longer trims, it's easier if you keep them in that coil. They come in. You have much more control. You see, I've cut it too short, so I'm going to warm that up. You can stretch it a little up to a certain point. Sorry for the noise. It's typical me, measuring twice and still got the wrong length. So, but you can stretch them up to a certain point, and this is just like a little. I have to move it, and now it's reaching the end. It is reaching the end. That's how easy it goes. Obviously, it has to be warm for that, and I can shape it nice around this curved area to apply it on there. Nee, flüssig wird es überhaupt nicht. Es wird einfach nur flexibel. Also flüssig wird da gar nichts. Und der Holzleim selber, der trocknet eigentlich eher, wird aber so ein bisschen reaktiviert, also dass er dann trotzdem hält. Also insofern, da hat man so ein bisschen ein Arbeitsfenster sozusagen, um das anzubringen. So I'm pushing it right onto the project to make sure I have good contact here everywhere, and that there is no gap. Reheat it. I'm missing my heat gun. It is a lot, well, it is a little dangerous for me because I'm clumsy. Who follows me knows I am very clumsy. But so that's finished, and it looks already totally different. So just add a little around that top. Let's see. Hold it up. So that's gonna go on there, and you can sand those afterwards also. That's what I'm gonna do with that one when that's on, just to smooth that out. So that's just like a little detail which is gonna go on there. Bonsoir Michelle, ça va? How's the weather in France? So with this little one, I'm just going to add the glue onto my, just had too much water on my brush. I had that, it is really warm over here, so I'm adding or putting my brush straight into some water so that the glue is not drying in there. Why I'm not too bothered about it, because you can, let's see, it's already cooling down. Cooling down. I'm going to reheat that so it gets nice and soft. To the side, push it really nicely on there. That one's got the perfect size for the width of that handle, and it just makes it look a little different. Hi, mein Hase. Ja, noch Stress mit der Telekom. So I'm gonna let that cool down. I'm gonna show you how we can sand that. Meanwhile, we're going to prepare our paint for the first base. So the base, as I said, is going to be, so every glue which is squeezing out on the side, I'm just wiping off. The base is, as I said, that's already pretty cool. So I'm just using a sanding sponge from Dixiebelle. And I'm just sanding those edges a little down. To round them a little off. Sanding sponge from Dixiebelle. It's got about a 220 grit. Basically just to smooth that edge, so it doesn't look that cut. So, and after you've painted it, nobody will notice that you attach that afterwards. It looks like it's always been there. That's the whole idea. Check them out if you haven't worked with them yet. This was just like a leftover piece I've used, so they always come handy. Glue to the side. So now, guys, do you answer questions? If I miss any questions, guys, I always have trouble seeing the comments on the Dixiebelle page itself. So, so we're going to start on the back. I'm going to unplug my acryl. Finished with that. Secure the paints, because we are working on the base first. So I'm not going to add the Seaspray to all of the project. So that's the reason I am painting the color green first. I'm going to start on the back. I'm going to turn it around. That's probably easier. Start on the back. As on the back, I also want to have a raised stencil at the end and on the sides. So color green, Michelle, be strong. It'll be covered up. It's only going to be revealed a little bit at the end. It's like a real darkish green. I quite like it actually. So I'm using my mini brush, like always, heavily used. So Instagram, so you can see. In this bottle, I only have water. I like to dampen my brush a little bit. And as I said, I've cleaned that with White Lightning, that piece. And now I just added 1 coat of Boss on there, as I am not very much bothered if there is some bleed through at the end. because the look is going to be a little aged and rustic. And there we go. Just want to make sure I hit everything underneath. I'm just actually, it is very warm here. It is very warm here. So it'll dry pretty quick. Actually, this jar is already, I don't know, what do we have, 23? This jar is about 3.5 years old, even older. That was one of the first colors I've used, this Dixiebelle, for a project, and they came over, and it's still good to go. There wasn't much left, so what I do with my paint jars, which are pretty empty, because obviously the more air is trapped in your jar, the more likely the paint will dry, because obviously that's what the paint is supposed to do on the air, you know. So around that ornament, I'm just gonna go a little in swirly motions to make sure I hit all the areas. So, and you can see I'm also using, for those thinner parts, I'm always using, well, can you see? I'm always using my mini brush. I'm just taking it sideways for those slimmer parts, and for the wider parts, I'm taking it with the wide side, obviously. So for me, I mean, some people like to have for each different painting area a different brush. I don't really need that. So I'm going to turn that thing upside down later. I like to paint underneath also. This is the nice thing about those projects, which are not that heavy. So you can turn them upside down. You're gonna paint that booty band. Hi Anja, geht's dir? Michelle. Trust me, I will. I will. This is just our base. Actually, I said I quite like that color. I'm not, for some reason, I'm not really into, ooh, well, yeah. Make a mess, make a mess. And also those woody bands, you can basically use any paint on them. And you can paint them also before you apply them if the project requires that. So, on the legs, on the legs. It's so warm here. Almost dropping that jar. And this, you know, table has got like chips and everything, so that's why we just work with what it's already providing. Just adding a little water so the paint goes a little easier into those details. The chalk mineral paints I'm working with, they are VOC free for those who don't know the Dixiebelle paints. And they have great coverage, as you can also see. If you feel the paint is drying too fast, just use a mister bottle and some water to get it going again. Paint the trim, go a little bit in swirly motions to hit all the areas. You can use, I mean, you don't have to use your good brushes when you paint the ornaments. So this brush has been heavily used, so it's in not very good shape anymore anyway. So, but still, also, this one is also, I mean, those who follow me know I've painted a lot. Ja, wie schön, Anja. Ich freue mich auch, dass du da bist. It has seen a lot of paint. It has seen a lot of projects. So, obviously the bristles, sorry for the noise, the bristles are not perfect anymore, but it still does a wonderful job. What's the time? Half an hour. We still got time. Okay. Still got time. Painting the trim. And I mentioned earlier, I've cleaned it with White Lightning, which is a cleaner and deglosser for your furniture. I never leave that step. So even if you think your project might be not dirty or something, there's always something on there. And I just want to make sure. I mean, obviously you wouldn't eat from a dirty plate, you know, so whatever somebody is telling you, I mean, you just need to, this is just logic that nothing is going to stick to dust or anything. So there's some cracks and things here. Some people like to cover them up. I like to keep those things because, you know, this shows that this piece, you know, if they have like nicks and crannies and things like that, that belongs to the piece, you know. I mean, it's had a life before it came into my hands. So, and this is just the base for now. We're going to come back in with some, I mean, usually, sometimes I cover the whole thing up with some Seaspray, I meant to say. Some Seaspray. Just lost for words. But this time I'm not. I'm just going to add it to certain areas, also on the top. And then we're going to sand it back down. And I'm also going to use the Seaspray for raised stenciling. Which you can do with Dixie Mud, you can do it with Seaspray. Seaspray you can basically mix up with any paint, and it does not change the color of your paint, or just, you know, very slightly. You can even mix it with the Moonshine Metallics. It'll it'll basically, where's my Mr. Up there? Obviously, it'll take a little of the shine away, which but you can still build up texture, but that's what I've also done before. So you can see in very quick, we have painted basically the base of this table. This one coat of and the coverage is, you know, is great. The coverage is great. And then we're going to do some gray stenciling. I mean, I still haven't really decided. I think I'm going to take the cozy sweater, but I'll also, let's throw it again on the floor. Yeah. So much stuff. I think I'm going to go for the cozy sweater, but I've also brought the basket weave, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put on the side. So maybe do you want to tell me what you would like to have? Just let me know what you think. Just let me know what you think. Just let me know what you think. Away here. Actually areas in the US which are still pretty cool. I mean, it is bright summer over here, so and the temperature all over Germany usually just varies about whatever 3 to, well, to at the most 5 degrees, unless you go up into the mountains. Maybe I put my Mr. Bottle again. There. I don't know why I keep looking for it. I mean, it's not that far away. It's not that far away. So this table is going to get a whole base of the colored greens, and then the other colors are going to be added to it. We're probably going to do that next time. I like to, you know, especially when we add the Seaspray in a second, I would like to have it completely dry before I add anything else over it, because it's going to be sanded back. Also to reveal some of that color green. Sorry, Michelle, some of it is going to come out. Some of it is going to come back. Sorry. There's one out. It's a little bit of color green. It's a bit from my colored green. There you go. Just going to mist it a little. Also going to go underneath. As I said, I'm going to turn it upside down also, just to make sure I fit all areas. And I'm going to keep the drawer in for now. Obviously, this is all going to be done properly, but for now, you're still at the base. Also, when I do my first coat, it's always basically checking out if I really want to go this way, if I want to do something different or not. also so as I said, Seaspray you can mix with all the paints. You can also mix it with the mix it with the silk paints, with the moonshine metallics, with the chalk mineral paints. You can mix it with the terra clay paints. So basket beef, cozy, cozy. So anybody else has an opinion on the stencil we should use? So I'm also basically spread that paint out a little more. Yes, I'm left and right-handed. I'm painting sometimes with my left hand, sometimes with my right hand. There's no rhyme or reason for that also. So, oh, that was a bit too much water. But even so, sorry, I can't see that at the moment, but so is that all covered? These also. And if I missed anything, looks good for now. Oh. Missed the trim on the side here. On the bottom there also. See, paint all the areas. And the transfer is gonna come on the top and on that middle part here. And yes, you can add the transfer over Seaspray. I'm going to sand that also back at the end to get it a little more of a rustic look, basically. Now on the other side, I see I missed some areas here. So just do quickly the top. See, a little better now. You see more than I do. You see more than I do. I'm on my tiptoes. Tiptoes. as I said, the temperature all over Germany is pretty much the same. It usually just varies about 3 to 5 degrees, depending if you're in the higher areas, unless you go into the mountains, but there's just like not that much areas. When you go towards south, you know, past Munich, towards Italy, there's the Alps, and there's probably still snow. It is pretty warm there now also, so you can drive over the Alps now again, which you can't over winter time. There is a tunnel going through. All the roads are closed. So, okay, now this can dry. Too much coverage down there. Too much down. So, now I only have a little left in here. I'm going to mix my Seaspray in here, as it is. Hey Sissy, which stencil do you think we should use? Basket weave or so as I said, there's only a little paint left in here. And I get asked quite a lot how long paint lasts. I found this jar of color greens. I don't know actually why it was on the side. This is from 2019. I'm going to open it up now because you can hear it is perfectly fine. You can, the paint lasts basically, well, I wouldn't say forever, but it lasts a very long time. So, okay, I'm going to show you. There is like, you know, when you do is it called pudding in English also? There's like the skin, or when you cook milk and have that cooled down. This is just like some dried paint. So I'm just going to take that off. So don't worry when that happens, and the paint itself is still perfectly fine. See? So don't worry. But I'm stirring it up now. Obviously, it has been standing quite a lot to make sure I have it mixed up nicely. And I'm going to pour. You see that? I'm going to bring you down. I'm going to pour some of that in here to mix my. That's probably a bit too much. Let's see. To mix my. Trying to keep that. It's a fresh jar. I'm trying to keep that a little tidy. Don't be. Trying to keep it a little tidy. Close it straight up. So now Seaspray, texture additive. Dixiebelle says you use. It comes in 13.5 ounces, and it comes in 6 ounces. The 13.5 ounces has this measuring scoop, and Dixiebelle says you use 2 measuring scoops for 8 ounces of paint. So I usually add just as much as I think I want to have the consistency with. So I'm just using 1 scoop, and the scoop comes only with the 13.5. So it is white, but you're going to see in a second it basically mixes up nicely with that color. The white you see now is basically on the sides. So for raised stenciling, I like to have it a little thicker, so I'm adding a little more. So do we have basket weave, basket weave, basket weave, cozy one time. Anybody else goes for basket weave or for cozy? So that's now what I want to have for the race stenciling. That's what I want to have for the race stenciling, a little thicker. So don't pour that down your drain. It's going to clog your pipes. So it's going to clog your pipes. Okay, basket weave. I was going to go for cozy sweater, but now we're going to go for basket weave. Your wish is my command. Your wish is my command. So ever so pretty, that stencil. They are Mylar stencil. It is a continuous pattern. You can see those dots on the top, so you can top edges. You can line those up to continue that pattern. And let's see. Now I have to try that thing. I'm sorry. It is noisy. I know I'm annoying you. So let's go on the back. Let's go on the back. You can tape it down, but when I work with texture additives or when I work with the mud, I don't really bother taping it down because it is pretty much holding up pretty well. So I'm going to use my mud spatula to apply it, which I have there. This is the mud spatula. I'm sorry, you can't see. I'm putting it up. Yeah, but it looks totally different, you know, so I'm still not sure. Guys, please help me. No, you're right. Basket weave is fine. You're right. It's got more of the square shape, so that probably goes nice. I'm going to turn it around. There's like a thinner line up here. So as I said, some people like to spray their stencils with a spray adhesive. I don't really like to. So now I'm just picking up some of that paste we just made. So, and it usually holds up the stencil nicely. So obviously I'm holding it down to make sure that it doesn't shift or I'm accidentally lifting it. So when you obviously do the raised stenciling, the Dixie mud is softer. This is a little rougher, but as I said, this goes nicely with this project. This goes nicely with this project. You can hear it by the scratching. It's got a little more texture to it than the Dixie mud, but you could also sand it back if you have like too many areas. concentrated, as you noticed. When I stop talking, I'm concentrated. Also want to make sure I get it all to those areas. Obviously, all those details will come out when we get on there with the other colors. And I'm going to let you go in a second, guys. I appreciate your patience being still with me. So there's still something missing there. I'm going to go, but I'm going to let that dry first before I go there. I'm going to do that without you because I don't want to mess it up. Obviously, if I lay it over the wet paste here, I will damage that. So now, probably won't see that much. Oh, you can see that pretty nicely. There you go. That's the texture. Can you see the texture we just brought on here? As I said, I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to do the part on this side here to continue towards the edge. Just taking it off a little. So I'm going to just put it into the bin for now. As I said, don't pour it down the drain. Wipe your tools off. Use brushes. You can basically throw away at the end. This is a pretty used up. Merci beaucoup, Michelle. Now I'm just going to stipple on in some areas some more texture, especially around the edges. That's where I want to have it. That's basically, as I said, I don't want to have it everywhere. I'm going to have a little more around this edge here. Legs. And I'm going to toss that brush at the end. So I'm going to mess that up at the end here because this is basically running out to the edge and going to look aged at the end. Doing the same thing on the top. Don't need to have like a clean edge here. And also on the bottom here, just to push that out a bit. So, can you see what I've done there? I'm going to do the other side when I have the other bit finished. So guys, I almost kept you an hour. So I'm just happy. Dankeschön. I'm just happy haven't been kicked out again by Telecom. So thank you again, Telecom, for kicking me out earlier when I tried to go live. So there's more layers to come, you know. I don't do like, you know, single color finishes. Usually I don't. So next time we're going to work with Weeping Willow and the cucumber eyes and to reveal some of the texture back. And hey, Betty, how are you, sweetie? I hope you're okay. So I'm going to go. Thank you so much for being with me. I think the next one will be on in a second. So I'm checking out, guys. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Thank you, Betty. You're so sweet. I'm late. You're so sweet. Bye-bye.